Here are 3 ways that I open up more sunlight for my fruit trees. Did you know that more sun equals more fruit? Josh here. I've been growing fruit trees in the ground for 10 years. I got hundreds planted. And one of the things I learned is that you need sunlight and at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight if you want fruit off of your tree. Now, you can survive in 3 to 4 hours, but a lot of times what will happen is if you're in part shade, you'll start to get some dieback on branches. You'll start to get some overcrowding on branches where things look a little leggy. And so you need to go in, and first things first is you need to prune out to open up that tree so that it's got more sunlight to its interior. That airflow, that sunlight is really important for trees that might be in part shade. So first advice that I would give is if you want more sun to your tree, you need to thin it by removing some of the branches so it doesn't become too dense, and in those shady areas that'll allow the light that you do have to get to the branches you need in order to form fruit. So that's the first step, pruning. All right, next step on our list is doing a little bit of trimming. So I'll go around to all of my trees on my property probably once a year and remove a lot of the lower limbs on the bordering larger trees. So I'll go in, I've got this electric saw, it's really nice. It's got an extender, and what it allows me to do is quickly remove those lower limbs from some of the larger trees, and that's going to allow a little bit more light to come through. Now, some of that might be dissipated light, which is fine, but it's going to open it up, and so I'll remove some of those overhanging branches over my fruit tree area. And so actually I was going to go through and do some of that today. And so that's what this is for. You can also use a manual pole saw. So they've got a manual one. I've got one of those as well I used to use, but I switched to this one because I had so many to do. And the great part is that when you take all those limbs down, you can chip them. So you can actually reuse that into your own mulch. All right, so that's number 2. And number 3 is when you need to go and take out some trees. So I actually have a few I'm going to take out today. And so I'll go around, and as trees get larger, they block more and more sun, trees that I don't want or don't like around the border of my property, I will remove them or thin them out so that there's not so many so dense together. And I'll just remove those straight from the base of the tree. And what that allows to happen is 2 things. When you remove a tree, you're not just giving more sunlight for the other trees, you're also reducing competition at the root zone for various nutrients and minerals and water, and all of those things are competing. So I actually have a bunch of pine trees I'm going to be taking out here this fall just to free up this area around my figs. Now, another technique that you can use is you can actually plant in borderline wooded areas, like along the edge of a wooded area, or sometimes even in the woods, and slowly let your fruit trees mature because they're going to get less sun. They'll grow a little bit slower, but they'll get more acclimated. And then you can remove trees around those over time. So if you plan to clear that area, but you don't want to do it just yet, you can plant some fruit trees there, let them slowly work their way up to mature age, and then clear the trees around them when it comes time for them to form fruit. Now, it's a little bit slow of a process, but a lot of people use this method when they haven't gotten to clearing that property yet. It's less maintenance for you. And then as the tree gets larger, you create more light around it. All right, so those are 3 ways that I create more sunlight in my orchard. And again, sun equals fruit. So make sure you get enough or your trees are going to suffer. I hope you're enjoying the 20-day challenge. If you've got any questions, post them in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.